Greetings and blessings to each of you. We're glad to be able to join you this evening and to have you with us as we continue to talk about God's deliverance, how he plans for his people, and how he empowers us to overcome and to survive many of the issues of life. We can count on God today to the point that we can trust him and know that regardless of what you might be going through, that God is able. Some go to the point of saying that God can and he will make a way. We've come to count on God in that way, that when we are tried, when we are tempted, when we don't understand what's going on, God is so faithful that we can rest with confidence. We can trust him every step of the way and lean on him for his direction, for his protection, and his covering. I'm enthused. I'm glad today to know after many years of fellowship with God that we have experienced many things, but realize that God has always been the one who lifts up our head and enables us to know with great assurance that things will be all right. He is faithful, as we said, and we have found out that he is so reliable. As the songwriter says, he's an on-time God. He is there when you need him. He is always there when you call, and he makes ways out of no way. Now, as we engage the book of Exodus, particularly the first few chapters, there's some things that occur to us about God's dealings with his people, about how we can apply many of the principles of deliverance to our day and time. How we can know that there's something consistent about how God helps us and how he fixes things. There is something consistent in how he addresses our need. So with that consistency, we can trust him. And with that consistency, we can know that everything will work out some way, somehow. Now, as we look at our topic today, which is essentially taken from verses 19 through 21, that is Exodus chapter 3, verses 19 through 21, we find out that God acts on behalf of his people. And when he does it in this particular chapter, he calls Moses to himself for the purpose of rescuing Israel. Deliverance is on God's mind. His people are on his mind. And the wherewithal, the ability to bring about great change in their circumstances is on God's mind. Now, God often demonstrates his care for us during our struggles. He manifests his strength and provides everything that we need. He directs Moses to face Pharaoh. Moses had no intention to bombard the court of Pharaoh. He had no intention to return to Egypt after fleeing for his own life. But God redirects Moses on the backside of the desert and tells him to go tell Pharaoh to let my people go. Now, one thing that Moses receives from God is not only the instruction to go, but God summarizes what's going to happen when he meets with Pharaoh. God says that the king will not cooperate. He will not let the people go. Regardless of what you say to him, regardless of how you approach him, this king will be obstinate. This king will be stubborn. This king will be stuck in his own ways, and he will not cooperate. But God plans to soundly defeat Israel's enemy. Sometimes life brings you into contact with people who will not cooperate when you are attempting to do something good. Sometimes you are experiencing these difficulties with people who stand in the way. They don't want you to succeed. They don't want you to prosper. But in this case, God tells Moses, the king will not cooperate. He will not let the people go. I think it's encouraging to know that now Moses, understanding that he's going down there and he's going to make the petition, but he also understands that this king will not go easily. He will not abide by the request. And so I believe on some level, it could fortify Moses to know what he's up against, to know that it will not be easy. I think sometimes we anticipate things will be so easy, we won't break a sweat, we won't have to worry about anything, we just ask and get what we want. Well, sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes you have to go through something, sometimes you have to deal with rejection. Sometimes you have to deal with those who do not want you to go forward. But it is good to know that God is with you to help you when you are facing these obstacles to your progress. Now, God says the king will not let you go, but God will work miracles in Egypt. This is what God plans. The king won't let you go, but God is saying, I'm going to work miracles down there. I'm going to show my glory. I'm going to reveal my power. And the king will get to a point that he will willingly, or at least that he will agree to let God's people go. God will force Pharaoh's hand. He will eventually let the people go. This is the ultimate decision and result, that the people will be released after God has stepped in an amazing way. Moses has to understand that it isn't in his own power and in his own might, but God's going to do something wonderful. He's going to do something miraculous. Sometimes where those moments where you feel like you're stuck and you feel like you're at the dead end of the road, nowhere to turn, no way to go through, no way to get out. But God is saying, I'm going to reveal my power. I'm going to reveal my glory, and you will be released in time. You'll receive that release of God's favor. You'll receive that release of God's deliverance. You will receive that release where you can march forward because God is working things out for you. Now, sometimes God delivers us through the struggle. And I have to say that again. Sometimes you are delivered through the struggle. The struggle doesn't just immediately dissipate. It doesn't just disappear in the moment. Sometimes we have to go through. Even as David says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil because thou, that is God, is with me. Sometimes you have to go through the struggle to experience God's power. You have to go through the struggle to learn that God will make a way. You have to go through the struggle, the storm of life, the tragedy of life to get another glimpse of God's glory. God delivers us through the struggle. Your troubles ultimately set you up to experience God in all of his power and his glory. And after you have been delivered and set free, and after you have been blessed in your crisis, you'll be able to come out singing, oh, that it was God, not anybody else, but it was God that made a way for me. Some blessings are only released after you have suffered a while. I heard the writer of Hebrews says you have need of patience, that after you have done the will of God, that you would then receive the promise. God gives you faith in the midst of the struggle. God gives you courage in the midst of your crisis. God gives you determination and that made up mind that some way, somehow, you are going to make it through. God is going to see you through your tough times. God is going to make a way in the wilderness. God is going to make a way where you see no way. God will show up in power and in favor upon your life today. Now, in these times, God reveals something special and extraordinary to you. God reveals something special that you can perceive. He reveals something special that is unique to you. He reveals something special that you know that you're in the presence of the Lord. He reveals something special while you're dealing with the madness of this world. He reveals something special when it seems like nothing's going your way. He reveals something special when all hell breaks loose against you. But God is in the business of encouraging you during your storm. He's in the business of encouraging you through your struggle. You will make it through because God is revealing something special and extraordinary and miraculous to you in the midst of your test. Now, God performs mighty works that inspire your devotion and praise. He performs mighty works while you're in the storm. He provides mighty works. As the songwriter says, don't wait till the battle's over, but shout right now, because you know in the end you will win. Well, I wish we had just a little bit more time here, but we're going to continue this thought on next week. A special blessing of power, the special blessing of God's presence, the special blessing of God's anointing, the special blessing of God showing up just when you need it. Oh yeah, be encouraged today. He's on your side. Be encouraged. You'll make it through the struggle. Be encouraged. There's a special blessing of power waiting on you. God bless you today.